Hello everyone, I'm the Saxy Gamer, and today we're here for yet another first impressions video, this time about the December patch. So if you haven't seen any of these are just very general and casual impressions of the new December patch. I'm just gonna kind of watch the video with you guys and talk about some of the things that I think are cool, some of the things that I would like to see, and just some general thoughts and impressions on what we're gonna get in this month's drop of the new Frontier Pass. So let's go ahead. So this is not one of the content drops, this is one of the free for everybody drops. So let's take a look and see what they have to say for December.
Hello Civ fans, welcome to the Sid Meier Civilization 6 developer video for our free December game update.
We'll be revealing our latest free game feature and highlighting a few of the balance changes and AI improvements you can expect. Those of you who are active on social media might even recognize some of these tweaks as community requests.
So sit back, relax, grab some eggnog or a coquito, and join us as we walk through what's next for Civilization.
The new feature for the December update is the City-State Picker. Now you can handpick your favorite city-states when you create a game. Simply navigate to
oh, sorry. I accidentally resumed it there. So yeah, the City-State Picker is the new free quote-unquote feature for everybody that's going to be coming out this December. And I think that this is a pretty decent thing. It's pretty self-explanatory, honestly. It's just like the Natural Wonder Picker, where you can choose which city-states you have in the game or choose which ones you don't want to have in the game. This is, I think, pretty cool. So I was actually thinking about this recently just because I'm not sure if any of you guys saw the Potato McWhiskey and Spiffing Brit game where they did the multiplayer exploit with Babylon and I forget who else, but one of the scientific city-states. And that got me thinking that, I would like to try something like that, but it's very hard because then you have to rely on RNG. But something like the City-State Picker makes it a lot easier because then you can just selectively choose what city-state you want in the game, and then you can be sure that if you want to go for a particular fun strategy or anything like that, or you want to do something cool in multiplayer, or maybe you're playing a religious game and you just want to have Yerevan, then you can select to just have Yerevan. So lots of cool things that you can do with the City-State Picker.
advanced setup and decide if you'd like the default random selection of city-states or if you'd prefer to pick a custom list featuring only the city-states you choose. This is a great way to increase the chances of running into a newer city-state you might not have played with before. It also gives you another way to control some of the game difficulty. Do you want to pick only science-boosting city-states to help you achieve a science victory? Or do you want to prevent any science boosters from appearing to make your playthrough a bit more challenging? The system is similar to the Natural Wonder Picker we introduced a few months back, except the Natural Wonder Picker allowed you to select less than the standard number of spawns. For city-states, you can move a slider to change the minimum number of city-states that will appear.
Yeah, so that's one other thing that I do want to talk about is that, so this doesn't actually allow you to put in no city-states or more than the number of city-states. So you can't put in more than 14 for whatever map size that they are on right now. You can't add in literally all 40 city-states or however many there are, but it just allows you to choose which ones are randomly selected from the pool. So this got me thinking, I really want this to be a thing for the leaders that are in the game, because I think, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I feel like a lot of people have been asking for a blacklist of leaders, because, you can obviously choose what leaders you want to play against in terms of the AI, or you can just leave them on random, but I wish that they had a system like this, where you can choose which ones are available to be rolled as random leaders, because sometimes, you don't want to pick what leaders you're going to play against, but you want to pick some that you definitely do not want to play against. So I really hope that in one of the future free content drops, hopefully they'll add this in for leaders. So maybe we can bug Firaxis about that, or I guess just the Civ team, because they did mention that some of these were community-driven requests. So perhaps we can get a community-driven request for that one. But anyways, let's go ahead and keep watching here.
The December game update will also feature some balance changes for previous content we've released this year, like updates to the ley lines in secret societies and preventing Byzantium from receiving free cavalry units from pre-existing buildings in cities it captures. Other changes only affect Gathering Storm content. We've done a significant balance pass on social policies and on the tech and
All right, I'm gonna pause here because we're gonna look at the social policies and stuff secondly. But one thing that I just want to mention was, they're doing these balance changes to the previous New Frontier Pass content. So they mentioned Byzantium and ley lines. So this is I don't remember, was it the last free content drop where they rebalanced Simone? They rebalanced I honestly don't even remember what else they rebalanced. I just remember the Columbia change, but a very similar thing to that, where they're kind of, altering some of the things that they've added in the new Frontier Pass to tone the balance a little bit. It's obviously not the most exciting thing, but I think it is, a very helpful thing, because I think that the new Frontier Pass has brought quite a few balance issues, and so it's cool that they're going back and tweaking these afterwards. But let's take a look at the social policy changes, because I think some of these are quite big.
Civic boosts. For example, we've changed the number of great people points granted by a number of policies, and altered various population requirements and adjacency bonuses.
Yeah, so this is the one that I want to talk about. So, I mean, the great people points ones it's fine, but the one that I want to look at here is rationalism, which they actually don't necessarily call attention to, but they kind of do. So you can see that now with rationalism, it's going to take a population of 15 or higher to get the other 50% bonus on your district buildings, that's significantly more difficult than what it previously was at 10. That extra 5 pop is going to take a lot of extra housing and food to get to. So I think this is actually quite a big nerf to these types of policy cards that boost the yields from buildings that are in your districts. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I don't know if it's going to be better for the players or the AI, but that is yet to be seen. But either way, I think balance changes like this are needed, because I feel like I find myself running pretty much the same policy cards in every single game, just because there are a few that are significantly better than other ones. I still don't think that these great people ones are going to be really that good, but especially these ones down here, but maybe who knows, maybe they'll change them a little bit more before the patch comes out or something like that, or maybe in a future patch. But either way, once again, some nice balance changes. I think not the most exciting, but very necessary.
On the tech and civic side, we reduced the boost requirements for professional sports, capitalism, industrialization, refining, electricity, advanced flight, and advanced ballistic.
So I just want to say about this, like, these for the most part probably aren't going to have a huge impact unless you're playing Babylon. Then whenever you play Babylon, being able to get industrialization with only 2 workshops and refining with only 1 coal power plant and advanced flight with only 2 biplanes, things get a little bit nicer for Babylon. So yeah, as I mentioned, these probably aren't going to be too hugely impactful for most civs, but as Babylon, this is going to make them even a little bit more cool and zany, especially because industrialization and advanced flight and refining are some of the main ones that you go for in one of the like the Rush biplanes line of potential Babylon playstyles. So these, I think, are quite cool changes. But, I mean, I think they are helpful for other civs as well, obviously.
We also made some changes to information area boosts. Some of the tweaks that affect all rule sets include combat changes. For example, melee units will now receive a smaller bonus against anti-cavalry units, and the combat power of the thrust promotion will be reduced.
So this is an interesting change. They are making it so that way melee units are less strong against anti-cav, and obviously, they're changing the anti-cav's thrust promotion in response to that. This, I think, is going to have the biggest impact in the very early game when you're trying to clear barbarian encampments, because previously you would get 10 combat strength against the spearmen that are in barbarian encampments. Now you're only going to get +5, so it's going to take probably 1 extra hit to kill them. If they're spawning a lot of units, this could be a bad thing, and it could be very irritating. So we'll see just exactly how big of a change this actually feels like, but I think it is cool because I feel like anti-cav units are kind of undervalued. Unless you're playing against someone that really builds like a lot of cavalry units, then I don't think that anti-cavs have been particularly good just because they are so weak to melee units. So hopefully this change will kind of level that out a little bit and make them a little bit more viable.
There are also some balance changes to a few of our great people in all rule sets. For example, we've increased Da Vinci's culture bonus to workshops. Also, to better differentiate the abilities of Einstein and Isaac Newton, Einstein's bonus will now apply to research labs, while Newton will continue to buff universities.
So this Einstein-Newton thing, I think, is actually a very good change, just because if you got both Einstein and Newton, you would get 6 extra science on your Tier 2 building in your campus. I think the fact that it goes to the Tier 3 building now is a better change, because then you don't get as immediate of an effect from getting Einstein. You have to still build those research labs, which also do require power. So I think that is actually a quite good change, because Einstein was probably one of the best great scientists in the game previously.
We're also excited to reveal our latest AI improvements. AI leaders are now less likely to make demands if your military is stronger or if they're doing badly in a war.
That's a very good thing, because I swear, I don't know what patch it started in, but they have been demanding a lot of gold anytime you have grievances for a good while now, I feel, and they just keep asking and asking, which is really irritating.
You may also be pleased to find a Stop Asking Me button that you can use if a particular civ is pestering you with demands.
Speaking of pestering with demands, they've added a no and stop asking button. Once again, huge quality of life improvement.
We've also created some additional considerations behind the cost for peace and given your computer opponents more logic around the raising of cities.
So I think that one's pretty cool as well, because I think it was after Gathering Storm released, the AI have been a little bit wonky in deciding whether or not they want to make peace for a war. So hopefully this fixes that a little bit, because sometimes like they'll be losing tremendously and they'll refuse to make peace, which is really irritating. But hopefully now this will be improved, and this as well, where they'll now likely raise cities that are, perhaps not that great for them if they've been settled by someone like the Maya. I think this is another pretty cool change.
This will be especially useful for the AI when playing against civilizations with strict bonuses to cities and city locations, such as the Maya.
Again, a lot of these changes were influenced by you, our players. We are always inspired to see how many people love this game as much as we do, and also love discussing all of its details as much as you do.
Civ fans, you're the best fans in gaming.
We are so excited about our upcoming content and can hardly wait to start sharing the specifics with you in January.
So this is something that I want to mention here, right? We'll watch this guy give it a kiss as well. But does anybody know what this thing is? Because he's obviously saying it in reference, or he's holding this thing while referencing the upcoming content, and also, saying that he's excited to share what's going on. So I feel like this feels like a little bit of a teaser to me. I have no idea what this thing is, though. It looks like a Viking to me, but I have no idea. So if you want to let me know in the comments section if you have any ideas about this, feel free to do so, and perhaps we can find out what the deal is with this guy right here.
We hope you stay healthy and happy as we ring in 2021. And cheers to one more
year.
So the other thing that I do want to mention is that they say, one more year. Does this mean that that 2021 will be the last year of Civ 6's support before we move on to Civ 7? I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe no. I don't know. That's just, baseless theorizing. Did they give a release date here? I don't think they do, actually. I would assume that it's probably next Thursday, right? Because I think it normally comes out the Thursday, like a week after, or the week after they release the game update video, then the Thursday after, like 10 days after that, or whatever normally is when these patches come out. So hopefully then we'll be able to get some of this. But yeah, this is admittedly not the most exciting game update in the world, but I think it is a very necessary one. So I'm really glad that they're doing it. I mean, there's not like super new content and stuff like that, new game modes, stuff like that, but there are some much needed balance tweaks, AI improvements. I think stuff like that, in terms of the longevity of Civ 6, is going to be more helpful than just, slapping on a bunch of content. So I'm very excited to see these changes, and I hope that they continue to do stuff like this for the rest of the New Frontier Pass. So thank you everyone for watching. I have been the Saxy Gamer. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like. If not, feel free to dislike. If you're looking for some more Civilization 6 content, feel free to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.